Hello, everybody. So here I am. I am in China. I've made it all the way here. It was quite a wild ride. I will go ahead and kind of give you the crash course of everything that happens. So obviously, I started my trek in Austin, Texas. And little flight from Austin to Los Angeles. Wasn't anything major. Very full flight. It was good. The lady next to me had a little dog, so that was really cool. Little poodle that was on her lap the whole time. The dog was as good as gold. Didn't make a sound. Was really good and very friendly. So that was nice. Then landed in LA. Had a 6-hour layover there, but it went by really quickly. As soon as I got my bags, because I had to get my bags back, they weren't checked all the way through. So as soon as I got my bags, I went straight to line up for the flight from LA to Xiamen, China. And that flight was absolutely packed. The line to check in was already mostly finished, so I was towards the back of the line. So I was in line for probably about an hour, but it was moving. It wasn't too bad, so it was all right. Plus, when you're heading to China and you know you're going to be in China, you kind of get used to crowds and lines and all of that. So it was all good. So I got that all checked out. Got through security and all that, and went. And my last meal in the United States was Panda Express. LA's got a Panda in their international section, international terminal, I should say. And so I had orange chicken and chow mein, as well as honey sesame chicken and Beijing beef. So that was my last American Chinese that I'm going to have for probably a little while. But it was very good, very nice. Got to my gate and waited. By the time all of that had taken place, I only had to wait about an hour before the flight was going to board. So that was pretty cool. Flight boarded on time. Packed flight, very full. On Xiamen Airlines. I'd never flown with them before. A good airline, as much as I could tell. With COVID and flying into China, things were very different than they would be normally. All of the flight attendants, were wearing some like moderate PPE or personal protective equipment. They had goggles and masks, and they were wearing their uniforms, but on top of that, they had this kind of like this blue kind of scrub type article of clothing on top of that. And there was no like hot food service. When we boarded the plane, in our seat was a large clear plastic bag knotted at the top. And in that bag was an apple, an orange, 2 6-ounce bottles of water, 2 little like packaged brownies, 2 packaged like apple pie like squares, 1 roll, a little bit of butter, and 2 Kit Kats, like the little, like, kind of like the Halloween candy size Kit Kats, like the little tiny ones. So I just kind of just munched on that throughout the flight. The flight was 14 hours, but all in all, pretty uneventful. The worst part about the flight was the fact that I had seen all the movies that were on the flight, bar one, Bumblebee. So I watched that in the last half of my flight. The rest of the time, I slept the first 7 hours. Then I read for about 4 hours, and then I watched a 2-hour movie, and then I basically just sat there for like the last hour and a half, 2 hours, and just waited. When we landed in Xiamen, it was very early. It was about 5:30 in the morning, and because of all the stuff you have to go through when you land, they don't just let everyone get off the plane at once. like they would normally. So each section is kind of broken. The plane is broken up kind of into 3 sections. So you have the first section, which is like your first class, business class, and they were allowed off the plane first, and they went through their like beginning. They started processing them first. Then the next section, so like the next like third of the plane, which was economy, or the part of economy, they then broke that third into 3 and would let about 8 rows of people go at a time. By the time it got to me, because I was all the way at the back of the plane, I was on the tarmac waiting for about an hour, hour and a half. But it wasn't too bad. I just sat there and read, and you know, because going into it, I knew that it was going to take a long time, so I wasn't stressed, and I was just like, you know what, I don't have a connecting flight, you know, and I need to enjoy this time, you know, outside of a hotel room, because you know, once this process is finished, I'm going to be in a hotel room for 2 weeks, so I just need to enjoy this, and I did. So, but I finally got off the plane. And by this time, it's probably almost 7 o'clock. And they put us onto a bus, and they take us a little bit down the tarmac and to where we're going to like get our bags. But there's quite a bit we have to do before we can actually get our bags. There's lots of paperwork filling out saying, hey, I've not had COVID, I don't have any symptoms, things like that. Then they take you they just kind of wind you through the airport, like on your way to baggage claim, and you have to go through, you know, normally you would go through like a health inspection, which is really you just kind of just walk through and your temperature's checked, and you know, that would be it. But here they actually they stopped each individual passenger. You had to show a QR code on your phone saying that, you know, you've passed you had COVID test, you were shown not to have COVID, and all of that. So then you have to sign a document saying that this is all true. And you also had to sign documents submitting to a COVID test, a nasal swab, and a throat swab. So I did that, went through to the next section where there was 2, like on either side of me, there was, I think it was 6 little rooms, and those rooms each had a nurse in them, and that nurse just administered the test. So she did the nasal swab, she did the throat swab, and that was it. Very quick. Especially by the time I got to this process, there was really not much for waiting because I was at the back of the plane, so pretty much everyone had already passed through. So that was nice. Got the nasal swab, wasn't too bad. Was much more unpleasant than the nasal swab I had in the States, but wasn't too bad. Then I was able to at that point, I was able to get my bags. I get my bags, I get put on a bus, and I go to another, like an abandoned, not abandoned, but like an empty shopping center, and that shopping center was where they kind of started divvying you up, and like, you're going to go to this hotel, you're going to go to that hotel, and they put you in what would have been like a shop in the shopping center, and you just wait there until your bus is ready to take you to your hotel. For me, that was about 15-20 minutes. So I go to the hotel, or I'm on my way to the hotel. Very pretty. It was like, I think 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning at this point. And little overcast. Xiamen, I'd never been there before. It's right on the ocean. It's an island. Very pretty. Very nice drive along the coast. Got to see the ocean. It was really nice. Get to the hotel, find out that it's actually one of the nicer hotels in Xiamen, so I was quite pleased with that. And you can see a little bit of the hotel behind me, but we'll get more into that in a little bit. So get to the hotel, get my bags out. They spray them down with like some kind of sterilizing liquid, and then they're set aside to dry, air dry. I had to fill out a bunch more paperwork. I also had to then check in with the hotel, which was a little bit of a stress just because no one was able to speak English at the hotel, and they wanted a lot of money, a lot more, because you have to pay out of pocket for the hotel. The government doesn't cover that, so you have to pay for that out of pocket, and they wanted 6,000 RMB, which was like about $1,000-ish. which I did not have. I had about half that in Chinese currency. So, but luckily Ginny's school helped me out and got all of that sorted. Then they put me in another little room all by myself in like a waiting area because I had to wait for my room to be ready, and waited there for about a half hour, and they moved me into my hotel room, which is where I am currently. And this is my first day. I got here yesterday, and I was just kind of out of it. It was jet lag and just, you know, getting things organized and figuring things out and sorting out food, you know, getting things just kind of situated and ready. So that's why I just kind of waited until today to do everything. So that's it. If you want, I'm going to make a second video, which should already be available, that will just kind of go through the hotel. It's not going to be very long. It's not a very big hotel room, but you will be able to view that next if you do so choose. With that, though, this video is done. Have a good rest of your day, and I made it to China safe and sound. So, yay. Bye.